Hey YouTube, so what's going on out there? This is EK here, and I have another IRS tax refund update for you guys. So I recently got an email in my from TurboTax. If you are using TurboTax, in that refunds are actually coming out pretty quickly. So the IRS has, even though they've been backed up like crazy, are finally starting to produce federal tax refunds for those who are filing for 2020. And however, when I saw the amount get deposited to my checking account, it's way different from what I actually expected. So, two things that I was expecting. Um, one thing I was expecting is for my refund was like one, it wasn't to include um, the unemployment benefit, which was basically my 2020 unemployment was not going to get taxed in this, right? So, and I was going to get a bigger refund. So I was expecting something more than what I got, and what I got back actually was actually less than even what I was quoted before the the whole act passed, the benefit passed in Congress. So I was like, what the heck is going on? So I immediately called TurboTax, and I had one of the specialists come on. And basically, the news I found out was like two things happened here. So one, it looks like the Federal Reserve or IRS is going to process if you have unemployment to from 2020. They are probably going to process that refund separately from your actual from people who have actually who filed their tax returns early. So I filed my tax return back in February. So if you filed it back then before the last relief package was passed, then they're probably going to file your tax return as is, and then probably give you a refund off your unemployment after that. At least that's what I'm guessing, because as of right now, I don't see it in my bank account. Also, another thing, if as you're filing your tax return, if you're one of the people that got the first relief check but didn't get the second one, so you check on the box that says like, hey, like you're claiming that you didn't get the second relief check. The IRS, what they'll do is that they'll claim that they sent it to you and say like, hey, we readjusted your tax return, and then they basically give you less less of a tax return, basically, or less of a tax refund. So that's what happened to me. So I got the first check. I never got the second one, which was like only supposed to be about $600, and basically I got about $600 taken away from my tax refund, because according to the IRS, they sent it to me even though I never received it. I made sure I went back to my checking account from where the first first relief check went. I got that one. The second one, I just simply never received. Like, I looked up the amount. I looked up who would be sending it. Like usually it says like IRS, like, something relief. And I looked it up on every single one of my bank statements online. Nothing there. I haven't. Now, I heard a lot of people, they're getting, either paper checks, they're getting it sent to accounts that have been closed. For me, I haven't used any other checking or savings accounts for the last 20 some odd years. And I've been using the same account for my taxes for the last, for whenever I've been filing taxes. So for the IRS to screw this part up is just like, it's absolutely ridiculous. So basically what's going to happen is that since IRS made this adjustment, the tax professional at TurboTax said they're going to send me a letter that says like, hey, like we noticed like you check this thing, check the box off of that you didn't get the second stimulus check. Our records say you did, so we readjusted your tax refund. And then there's going to be a number that says like, if we had did this incorrectly, please call X number, which I'm pretty sure is going to be a bombarded number, because they basically told me that I got something when I didn't get it. And I'm going to have to call back and be like, hey, look, here's the proof of like all your shenanigans. Like every time I go to your website, it says it has never been deposited into my account. Here is all my bank statements from every single month up until today. None of it says like the IRS ever gave me anything except for my tax refund and like, for the things that I've actually filed for. So you never gave me this. So like basically I have to go through another other crazy like set of like, I guess, a lot of all this other things that basically give me a huge headache in order just to get back about $600. Now, depending on how much time it's going to take me, it may or may not be worth it, right? Like if this, like, depending on how much time it takes me pulling bank statements, it's going to take me like 5-10 minutes. Depending on how much time I spend on the phone with them, that's going to be the part that's going to really make it seem like if it's worth it or not. Like if I have to spend, if you think about it, if I have to spend an hour on the phone with them, well, I just wasted about an hour just to get $600 back. That's not bad use of a time, but I have to spend like 4, 5, 6 hours, at some point it's just going to be eliminating, like that return is going to eliminate its worth, right? So if I have to talk to one person and then switch to another person, then switch to another person, and then, maybe work with another tax professional or whatever, just to get that $600 back. And it's going to take up like maybe 20 hours worth of time. At the end of the day, you're only going to get like, that's only out of the 20 hours you just spent getting your $600 back. That's basically $30 an hour, right? So depending on how much time it takes to get this refund back, it may or may not be worth it. But for now, you damn right, I'm for sure going to talk to the IRS and be like, you just took away $600 from me that you never received, that you claim to have given, even though I've never received it, which is also kind of like the most ridiculous thing, because like right now the IRS is like, for all what it's doing is just like they're not inefficient. They haven't hired more people to take on one. They're still doing 2019 actually like tax refunds. They have to tackle 2020 plus, what the federal government is now. It's like, hey, look, send out checks to everybody. So it's like they have like 3 times more work, but the same amount of people. It's like, there are a lot of people out there that need jobs, that could use jobs, and they should be hiring. Obviously, not everyone qualifies, but I'm pretty sure a damn good amount of people do, right? They could probably hire at least, like a couple hundred people in every single like field office in order to bump up the staff, but they probably don't. But anyways, so if you guys have fallen into this situation where you file your tax return before the last act passed, so back in like, I think it was before March, then you might see your federal tax return come back and get a federal refund come back and be less of the amount. When I talked to the tax professional at TurboTax, they basically have zero clue on what the IRS is doing. They haven't given them information on how they're gonna deal with the people who have filed tax refunds before the act passed. And then, but for the people who filed it after the act passed, and you had unemployment from 2020, you're probably going to get you probably will likely get a different scenario. Maybe I'm not 100% sure, because like when I talked to the tax professional from TurboTax for like at least a good half hour, and just asked her a bunch of questions. And basically, as of right now, IRS is not releasing a whole lot of information on how they're going to actually handle these taxes or handle the refunds for people who have unemployment from 2020. We know that they're going to do something about it, but as to specifics is very, very right now. It's just they don't know. And for some people, even a person like me who was receiving unemployment in 2020, I got part of my refund back. So, I honestly don't know if I will get more back from the IRS, because like right now, because the one thing that they don't want is like a ton of amendments. So because at the end of the day, because amends have to be done manually according to the tax professional, so that's the last thing they want to do. And supposedly they're going to be working on some kind of internal algorithm to kind of redo some of the taxes, I guess, or whatever, which I'm thinking, like, look, I'm not a software engineer, but I know enough that that algorithm should not be hard to make. Like, I mean, from a data perspective, it's like, look, I like you get between SQL and JSON and JavaScript. Any data professional can easily pull a record of these people within a day or two. So, of the people who need to be helped, them or of people who in 2020 received unemployment and need to and filed their taxes before a certain date, like that's not exactly hard criteria to look up. But it's the IRS. Who knows that the government works slow, and they probably not getting paid enough to work faster. So, anyways, that's kind of the update I have for now. So, if you guys have been getting, in case if you guys have been receiving your refunds and wondering why it's lower than before, here's some information on why. Hopefully, everything else gets resolved really quickly. But as of right now, it's kind of a bummer in terms of just realizing that the IRS is like not quite doing their job. I would argue, or like they're doing their job, kind of like, kind of part of it, partially doing their job. So, but either way, they're just humans, and there's only a select few of them, so we can only do so much. So this tax season, everyone's gonna have to be super patient in terms of getting their refunds back. But anyways, yeah, that's the update. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments below. Like the video if you are getting your tax return, or like the video if you're also pissed off at the IRS like I am. So anyways, I hope everyone has a good day, and hope everyone has a safe day. And sun is shining, it's spring, so wish everyone a great rest of the week, and hopefully I'll have more news for you later. Take it easy, folks.